Hi and welcome back to my channel, where today we're going to be talking about psychosis and how it relates to HPD and NPD. And I have a stinky cold, if you could not tell from the Kermit-like voice. Right, so today's video we're going to cover what psychosis is, how it feels, how it relates to HPD and NPD, and how to spot signs of it in friends and loved ones, and the best ways to respond. That is important public service information that everyone should have. Right, so I guess we'll just jump in with a little analogy. Right, my pancreas died last year. It stopped producing insulin. There you go, I need to take insulin every day, and I have a Libre that measures my blood sugar constantly and alerts my phone if it goes high or low because I need to treat it. Nobody would tell me, right, well, just make it produce insulin. Shut up, pretend it's not happening. It's just in your mind. Now, psychosis, it's a medical problem. It is a medical problem with the mind. The mind that controls all thought, all behaviour, all experience, emotion, everything. So the same way, you know, if somebody is physically ill, you expect there to be symptoms. You need to recognise that behaviour is going to be the biggest symptom of something wrong in someone's brain, especially with psychosis. Now, psychosis is basically a trauma-based defense mechanism. You know, it's something that you end up kind of escaping into or falling into subconsciously when going through traumatic times. You know, you can dissociate. Yes, you get auditory and visual hallucinations. Those are sometimes fun, sometimes not so fun. But the biggest part of psychosis is you believe things that ain't true. Right? Your mind is going crazy, you're having crazy thoughts, your emotions are up and down. You know you're hallucinating, but you only know you're hallucinating sometimes, and there is two different ways psychosis is going to present. Right, when someone is losing their grip on reality, this is a crazy person you are dealing with. They have mentally fucked up thoughts because they are mentally fucked up. And judging it on a behaviour, wrong way to go. Because behaviour is in itself a symptom of the psychosis. Because psychosis is controlling every thought that person has. You know, it's happening during a traumatic time. They're struggling with reality, and they're acting more and more erratically because their mind's becoming more and more erratic because they are indeed losing their grip on reality. Now, either you know you're doing this and it's hugely frustrating and traumatic, and your emotions are up and down and all over the place, and it can be terrible because you're trying not to fall into it, even though you are in it and aware of it, or you become unaware of it, and that is when it gets very calm. Right, so psychosis, crazy, calm, but calm could be saying mentally fucked up things, believing mentally fucked up things. because your mind is grappling with what is reality, and psychosis is pretty powerful because it influences the entire way that you think and you perceive the world. Now, when you know you are in psychosis and you've got a medical team, there is still struggles, there's lots of medication, it is a serious medical emergency, but you know what's going on, you can formulate it, you can then try and get through it in more positive ways. You know, turn it into art, turn it into sport, distract yourself, you know. But there is the psychological comfort needed, right? Humans are social animals, which means we're going to rely on our friends and family the same way we would if we were sick any other way. You know, we're like, okay, my brain's not working properly, I'm crazy at the moment, things are going up and down, I'm losing my grip on reality, I need support. You go to your friends, who can interpret it just as a behaviour if they're not aware of your mental health, or not aware of mental health even though they know you have mental health issues, and it can be made exponentially worse. Alright, psychosis, when you know you're going crazy, you know you're having, you're having hallucinations, you know your mind's going crazy, you know you're having fucked up thoughts, you can't tell what is real, what isn't, you are kind of like you're drowning and you're reaching out for life rafts, right? Those are your friends, your family, your medical team. Right? Your medical team probably going to be brilliant, right? You know, they know what it is, they know how to deal with it. Phone your doctors, phone your psychiatrists, you know, explain what is happening and they will do their best to help you. But you also need support from friends and family in real life, especially with HPD and NPD, because you've got narcissistic supply. Alright. You've also got heightened emotions and chaotic energy. Naturally, pathologically, you're chaotic. The cluster Bs are in the chaotic cluster. Because we can go batshit crazy. Sometimes psychosis. And we need people to understand that this is not a behavioural issue. You know, it's not someone can just change the way they're acting. They don't know how to act. You know, they're going to come to you and tell you all the crazy things going on in their head. They might seem really calm but saying scary stuff, or they might seem really erratic, or they might be making bad decisions. Now, if you're a friend, family member, loved one, we're coming to you for support. If you react with anger or you react with fear, even worse, which psychosis can get very, very scary. Very scary, very fucked up. It can be very hard to deal with. You know, if you do have a loved one with psychosis, you know, focus on your mental health as well. You know, they are going to be lashing out, they are going to be saying things, they're not going to be understanding, and they're coming to you for comfort, and they're telling you, oh, these are the fucked up things going on in my head, I'm looking for support. Right, so I'm coming to you panicking, and you're showing me I've got every reason to panic. That's going to make my mind even more desperate to find a solution to it, because I need to crash or punch. You know, you can't stay in this erratic, crazy place, because it's not a good place to be. You don't want to lose yourself. So, you know, you're trying to pull yourself out of it. And that could be in positive or negative ways. Right. So you've got the emotional side to deal with, which is probably the most overwhelming one, driving the psychosis while it is erratic, right? Because you're aware you've got the psychosis, you know, your emotions are going up and down. Like I said, it's a trauma defense mechanism. So you may be dealing with a clinical depression at the same time, or a toxic relationship, or a loved one with cancer, you know, something traumatic that your mind is starting to detach from reality to try and cope with, because your emotions are up and down and your mind cannot make sense of it, and it's reaching for a response that's not there, and it goes into psychosis, which can become very spiritual. Fun fact, right? Now, not talking spiritual, religious, spiritual feeling. Everyone has their own philosophies, their own belief systems, their own personalities. Now, psychosis comes in, it puts it on hyperdrive. You don't know, all you know is, right, okay, well, I'm losing my mind, I'm insane, I can't trust myself to make these decisions, I need to go to other people to help me. And if you go to people and they're not responding well, you know, you've tried to do it in a positive way. You thought, right, well, I'm going to talk to my friends. You know, okay, I have scared my friend. I've now had to comfort them. They can now not be a support for me because I have to comfort them and I'm there and my mind's going crazier. And, you know, dark thoughts I've had, oh, well, they've confirmed them. I must be a danger to everyone. That's the kind of crazy that is going on. And the calm that follows, that's when all the emotions seem to stop, and it's because they have fallen into psychosis. At that point, they are believing it. Whatever crazy shit they are saying and doing makes perfect sense. You know, it's the solution. And when I say it can become spiritual, it can be, oh, well, this is the problem. It can be, okay, well, you know, I might have schizophrenia, but I'm clearly a chaotic, dangerous person, so I'm going to have to stop myself if I do. Which is where my mind went last year during that psychosis. That was fun. I mean, the NHS was actually, they've been fantastic. But in terms of when you don't understand what's going on in your own mind, and it's coming out in your behaviour, but you've got personality disorders that you didn't know about before, which explains why you're always a bit crazy. You're not judging your own behaviour the same way normal people would. And your baseline is your own lived experience. Now, with HPD, NPD, any cluster B personality disorder, you're starting from mentally fucked up. You're starting from crazy, and it's going crazier and scarier and harder to relate to others. Therefore, people will draw into themselves. They might still go out, they might still see their friends, they might stop talking about the problems until they've become absolutely like, okay, well, I've come up with this solution. I've decided it's this insane thing. Right, now snap back to reality moments, they can come from friends, they can come from other people, they cannot come from the person struggling with psychosis, because their mind is completely off in crazy land. A crazy person rationalising with a crazy person and then going out finding confirmation bias, which is what you're going to do if you go to your friends and they're not supportive and you're falling, you know, because you're going to need positive or negative supply, because you're either going to need to distract yourself from it or fix the problem, which you're going to try and fix, but you're extra crazy. So anything that you can hold on to that excuses it, you're going to believe. Last year I knew some of the hallucinations were hallucinations. Some of them I didn't know were hallucinations. And, you know, like, you know, there was some, and I was just like, oh, I'm just lucid dreaming. Wouldn't faze me, but then waking up in the middle of the night and the whole house is flashing blue, and oh, fuck. Right, yes, better call the doctor, get stronger antipsychotics. Yeah, you know, there's other hallucinations where you're aware of the hallucinations, but you're just not fazed by them. And I think that's the hardest part for people to understand about psychosis, is it can go to a really calm place. People believe what they are saying. They believe, you know, because their belief system is kind of at the mercy of the psychosis. They might be acting out. It can seem like this person is making all these choices. They think they are. They're not in the steering wheel. They're going to come to you for support, and they need you to shut off your empathy and act instead of react. Right? They're going to be up. If they're upset, they might be coming in wanting an argument they can win. You're going to have to deal with ups and downs of moods and twisted thinking. You know, they're going to have dark thoughts about themselves, about other people, you know, because they're aware they're losing their mind. They, you know, the friends, family, everybody's responding differently. That's making me not know who I'm talking to, you not know who you're talking to, I don't know who I am. And I'm going, okay, well, everyone's having a bad reaction to me, like, this is bad, and they go, oh, I'll fix it. And that's when you end up falling into full-blown psychosis, because you will come up with a rational explanation that only has to make sense to you, because you've realised, well, I can't really talk about the dark stuff with you because you don't get it. Certainly after my son died, you know, I had like night terrors for a long time. Well, they're called night terrors, but, you know, for me, it wasn't scary. It was like this dropping feeling, and it was always like I'd be chasing, like trying to reach my son, and he'd be out of reach. Well, I'd end up covered in bruises, thrashing, but I wasn't like crying or screaming in my sleep, just like, you know, thrashing about. You know, when most people wake up from night terrors, you know, they're upset, they're relieved it's over. You know, when I started coming out of mine, it was the worst feeling in the world. You know, because the dreams, psychosis in response to the grief of losing a child, the hard part wasn't seeing them in your dream. It was coming to you in the reality. They aren't here ever again. Like, when you think about it, you know, and it's just that dropping, just overwhelming, painful feeling. You know, I never wanted to wake up from those dreams. You know, and that wasn't a normal reaction. You know, and you tell people, well, I'm having, you know, bad dreams, I'm having this, what's happening, and oh, well, you know, you lost a child, can't relate to it, of course you're losing your mind, it's normal. With psychosis, it's going to go further than that, and when people who already have mental health issues are dealing with things on top, they need a bit extra support. And sometimes that means you being able to just see them as, they're crazy right now, right? They've got a medical problem in their brain, it's affecting their behaviour, it's making them make crazy decisions. You know, can I help them? Because it can be something as simple as giving someone tough love, shutting off the empathy and being like, look, you're acting really fucking crazy. You know, what's going on? And actually having someone that you can sound these things off to, that you can talk to about without judgment, most of the time they can pull you out of it. You can be like, yes. But if you go in and you're angry with someone and you put them on the defensive, you know, it's going to start going very negatively. They're going to start thinking, oh, well, you're against them. They might start testing you. They're acting more and more chaotic, because when they try and do the healthy things and not getting the support they need, you know, because the way that they're going about it, which is the way we're told to go about it, you know, talk about your problems. But, you know, crazy people problems, especially psychosis, can be scary stuff to deal with. You know, I do have multiple suicide attempts in my history. I have hit self-destruct a lot of times. I've done a lot of crazy shit. I've made a lot of bad choices. I have a naturally chaotic personality. You know, I lack certain emotions. I feel things differently. I'm, you know, kind of mental to begin with. So when I'm struggling mentally, it's already hard for me to relate to people. It becomes exponentially harder, and the harder it becomes to relate to people, the more crazy you feel, the more crazy you're acting, and you can't trust yourself. And because you have the same as every other human, you're going to have confirmation bias. You know, if you decide, oh, well, I want to feel this way, like, you know, you're going, oh, I need to talk about it. I should talk about it, right? I, you know, work it out healthily with a friend. Oh, well, that's not an option, you know. Oh, I should go to the pub and get in a fight about it. Yeah, do that. Because there's no one there telling you not to do that. You go to the pub, there's going to be plenty of other people in the position looking for that. You're going to get confirmation bias. You're going to go, oh, well, I'm acting out, but other people are acting out. There's a trauma. It's fine. You're not going to see how crazy you're acting, and you're going to be very calm about it, because it's completely rationalized in your head because you are experiencing psychosis. Which is why we need friends and family members to know our diagnosis and to watch out and to assess our behaviour changes from the perspective of our mental health. That does mean being able to talk and listen to, you know, some fucked up shit when you're dealing with mental people in psychosis, and not having a panicked reaction to it. Realising, right, this could actually be quite dangerous. And if they're coming to you and saying, you know, I'm scared, I'm a danger to myself, possibly to others, I'm in a really dark place, and you're meeting them with fear or misunderstanding, or just telling them, oh, they're being dramatic, you know, they're feeling more and more crazy and more like they're right. Oh, well, I am a horrible person. Oh, this must be true. Oh, well, you're not going to support me. I need to find some other ways for support. And crazy people will latch onto crazy things, especially with cluster B disorders, where you need validation from other people. So you're going to find other equally crazy, destructive people to go down destructive routes with when you can't find healthy, supportive people, because, you know, you're scaring them with your crazy. Which, in fairness, when you're sitting there quite calmly, you know, spouting serial killer shit, or, you know, determined, right, well, I'm going to take myself out, and they're going to know. It can be very scary, very hard to deal with. You need to detach your emotions from it, recognise it as a behaviour. It is, of course, going to have an effect on your emotions. But sadly, the person experiencing the psychosis is the person who could be at crisis point. And if you are in that position, you, as the saner person, are going to have to be able to make that call. Now, like I said, confirmation bias, if they're in a downwards self-destructive spiral, they've probably got plenty of people around them also in that spiral, encouraging them, making them feel validated in everything that they're doing, everything they're saying, everything they believe, like, oh, things are better now, I'm not in that really upset, distressing, horrible place, I'm not in that scary place, right? It could work out fine, it could go very dark, but you need to understand it as an illness, right? It's a problem with the brain. The brain is malfunctioning and it's affecting behaviour, it's affecting thoughts, what someone believes. You know, crazy people can know they're crazy, you know, but they still need to exist in their own lived experiences and their lives and deal with the fact that they're going crazy, so have to find ways to deal with it before they do. And that does involve talking. So I would certainly say, if you have a friend who is acting very erratically, is having, you know, a mental breakdown, going through a period of depression, they seem to be having psychosis, either telling you hallucinating, or that, you know, they're just having these mental, bizarre, fucked up thoughts, they're acting irrationally, maybe self-harming, maybe starving themselves, maybe going out drinking and, you know, banging a different guy every night. They can seem like they're absolutely fine with it, because they are, because they're psychotic. And after that demented long waffle, thank you for listening, and I hope that helps somebody. Have a nice weekend.